No.
Is it working?
No.
Well, why are you holding it like it's videotaping?
Because it's cool to hold cameras like on video.
But it is recording, and I just flipped you off. God!
Boom. Right, you set?
This is what we call the green room. Very technical reason why it's called the green room is it's got a green fence all the way around it. It's kind of an outdoor room. It's great for barbecues in the summer. And although it looks nice and sunny right now, it's actually late March and it's quite nippy outside. I move quickly across the post here. Over here is the Chinese come Japanese end with the bonsai displays. I'll show a couple of bonsais close up. I don't know how long you want on this, but probably not longer. Can I move zoom?
Go, it's recording.
Hmm?
Go, it's recording.
Oh, okay. I need to do a copy set. Here we are at the bonsai collection. Some of these are bonsais in training. In fact, this one right on the end here is brand new. The rock's just there temporarily, but it will be trained to go around a rock. The next one's a Cotoneaster, nothing special. This one will be special in a few years' time. These are all small acers, all about 3 to 4 years old already, and that will look like a little copse of woodland. This is another acer opening up already, the leaves showing. This one's an English larch grown from a seedling, and you see that root system on there already. It's coming on quite a lot. Here's a flowering cherry in flower already. Chinese elm, these are the ones you see in the shops mostly for indoor use. And here's my favorite tree, and this is the oldest. This is about 80 years old, and this is a cork elm. You might not be able to see it right now, but there's little buds showing all over there. And this was just repruned and repotted and root pruned recently, and I thought for a while it had died, but it hasn't. It's in great shape. Stop. Finally, before we go indoors, this is Neptune with the punk haircut. And the bird you might be able to hear has a great tit chiming. He's looking for a mate. They're already looking in the nesting boxes. Spring is coming in. Having the waterfall, but the official opening is not until the middle of April. This is the waterfall into the pond. Again, it's April, so there's no pumps in the pond yet, but later on there'll be 3 big pumps and there'll be 3 different flows coming down that waterfall, and it looks real pretty, as they say somewhere, but not here. Oh, I'm doing the wrong one. Now, I'm supposed to be showing Sarah how I would do it, and I just messed it up. There's the toadstools and a few bird houses, and over here is the greenhouse where there's a lot of plants starting already. There's the conservatory where we have some bonsai work going on. And we come around here to the front of the house again. Oh, and I did that far too fast. I'll do that again, sir. And here we are. You can edit this. At the greenhouse where there are many seedlings coming on already, and that's where most of the bonsai start their lives. And here's the conservatory where most of the sensitive plants have to spend the winter because it gets real cold out here. And here we are back at the front, and down at the end is the arch gate, which is anybody looking for the house, we tell them look for the arch gate because there's none other like that around here. Welcome to Willow Corner Cottage. Oh, can we do it again? You just moved it.
Yeah, I bumped it.
I don't know whether it's recording, are you?
Yeah.
Have 7 V11, and the next beam should be V111, but it's not. It's 111V. So I said to the architectural historians, they made a mistake, and he said, hey, don't be too tough on these guys. They couldn't even read or write. These were just builders. So, I'm going to start the other end. You started. This is one of the main tie beams. This is holding the whole house together, and you can see how it's resting on this. This is called, this is the frame, part of the frame. And at the other end, you've got the other end of the frame. This is nearly 500 years old. Well, it's been there for 500 years. It's probably 300-400 years old maybe when it was cut to go in there. So this is an 800 to 900 year old piece of timber. And it holds all of the rafters. Now when we looked at these when we first saw them, I thought they're replacement because they all look so new. But they're not, because they're all numbered by the original builders. What they did was to build the house in the garden. The whole frame was cut in the field, as it would have been then. And then they would bring them in and assemble them, and they had to have them numbered. So they are numbered. This one says in Roman numerals 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the system they use on the clock. Instead of 1V, they do 1111, and then V. Nothing on that one, and we don't know why. Come back on that in a minute. This is V111, and the next one should be 111V. but it isn't. We've already talked about that. The next one is 1x for 9, and then we can't see what's on the back of this one. This is called an inglenook fireplace. I can't remember the reason why. And this is the inglenook beam. And in the fireplace, typically they had seats, and I think this is much later replacement. The seat across there the logs are sitting on, because people would sit in the fireplace, the only place they could really get warm. This room was called the hall, where people ate, they cooked in here, they slept in here, they lived in here. They didn't have such things as bedrooms in the early days of a house, that came later. And on this end here, instead of a seat, that's an oven. So the oven would have been accessed from the other side. There would have been something here housing the oven, and they would put bread in there or whatever from the other side. Can I keep going? On here, and we'll get to a close shot in a minute. We have marks on the beam. And here, for example, you can see it's an M with another M overlapped on it. And we thought this was just vandalism, 20th century, maybe 19th century vandalism. According to the expert who's looked at these are original 16th century marks to keep away evil spirits. And they always had them over on the Bessemer beam, over the inglenook fireplace, to stop evil spirits coming down the chimney. And the MM is for Mother Mary. And then in other places, back over here, there's another Mother Mary there. Here we have overlapping V's, VV like that. And that's Virginus Virgin, Virginus Virgin, Virgin of Virgins, again for Mary. Other things we have here, this is a plugged hole. We'll see a better one next door. And that was a hole that was drilled into the beam, and they would stuff into here a torch of rushes soaked in animal fat to light the room, because they didn't have any other means of lighting. In the winter around here, when it gets dark about 4 o'clock, there's nothing much to do in the 16th century. They couldn't even afford books, let alone other forms of entertainment. So they typically would go to bed. And if they wanted to do something, they had to use the rush torches. And we'll see one next door. Interesting thing up here is the line of the house. The beams go along here, and then there's a step down. This is the continuation of the beam. And we couldn't figure out why that was. And when the architectural historian came round, he told us that this part had been built on later than the original part. So we asked when, he said, oh, maybe 40, 50 years. So this might have been 1590, the other part was 1560. And here's this medieval phone. Can you hear that, recognize that medieval ring? Terry Quinn. Inglenook fireplaces like this one were very common in the 16th century when the houses were built for the reasons I just explained. But later on they became unfashionable. People bricked them up. And we got this one and the one next door which had been bricked up at this level, and then all of this plastered over, which is today would be a sacrilege. The previous owner of this house, George Wilburn, suspected there was an inglenook fireplace here, so he had builders come in and they knocked down the bricks, and sure enough they found a space behind, but there's a lot of rubble in here that had just been dumped. And while they were clearing it, there was a sound like that. And when they bent down, they found this very, very old key. In fact, we know almost certainly how old it was, because this was taken to the British Museum and was checked out by the curator of the Department of Locks and Keys. And here's a magazine he gave us showing a very similar key here. Very similar in the way everything's arranged there. And this key was found in the River Thames in 14 something. So around about the time when this house was built. when we took it to the British Museum, the chap at the British Museum said, "Tell me about the house." So my friend who took it down there described this house, and the guy at the British Museum said, "Okay, this key was not the key to your friend's house. Your friend's house didn't have a lock, didn't have a key, because locks and keys were province of the rich only." So then we got to wondering, well, what is it? Why was it hidden up the chimney together with another key that's a little bit later? And our theory is that someone in this house, perhaps one of the ladies of the house or one of the men, worked at the local manor house. Maybe they were a kitchen maid or a milkmaid or a farmhand or something, needed access to the house occasionally, so they were given a key. And they were afraid of losing the key, so they hid it up the chimney. When that person died, the secret of where the key was hidden died with them. And about 450 years later, it fell out of the chimney when the fireplace was restored. Reverend, what was his name?
No.
On me first, and we're going to go up to there, right? Hang on, give me a nod. Rolling is the thing. I'm rolling. A bit later, like a lot.
Sorry.
Right again. 20 years later, like about 3 centuries later, there was a vicar up the road in Wortham Church called Richard Cobbold. And apart from being a very good vicar by all accounts, he was also something of an artist and a social historian. He kept a diary which talked about all of the houses in this village and all of the people who lived in them, and he did some quite reasonably talented watercolours of the people and of the houses. And up here we have one of his pictures. This is the 3 houses close to us. This is the house we're in now, which at that time was 3 houses. There's a door there, and another door here, with 1 room downstairs and 1 room upstairs, and that was it. That's all they had. Cooking was all done on the ground floor, and they slept on the ground floor. The upstairs, well, at that time the upstairs would have been a bedroom. We have now doubled the size of the house, so they had at one time in this room here, where that window is, 32 people slept in that room in the mid-1800s. Not permanently, they slept there when it was harvest time on the farm. They came in to help and to get work, and they had to sleep in shifts, 10 or 12 people at a time. And this is the church up the road from the fields where there are buildings now. You can't get close to any of this. And over here, whether this will come out, we have a gentleman called Mr. Dawes in his Sunday best. And above that is a lady who is called, believe it or not, Old Miriam. And we thought for a long while that that was this house and that window, but it isn't. It's actually one of the other houses. This is the main one. I don't know whether you can see it from there. You've got to be here, I think.
I see it.
A burn mark from the reed rushes that were used to light the room. And this would have been the parlour. Three rooms downstairs in the house. The end room, here we're on the end of the house, is the parlour. Next room is the hall where everyone lived, and the one on the very end is the kitchen and the buttery and the oysterage buttery. That's a famous restaurant. The buttery and the scullery where they stored food and pots and pans and so on. If you can see this, I don't know whether you can, but this is the centre core of a piece of English oak. This is the soft growth at the outside, and you can see how this has been eaten away. There's hundreds of woodworm holes where the woodworm have eaten that away. But when they tried to get through into the hard oak, they couldn't move. It's too hard for them. And that's why these houses are still standing today, because most of them were made of hard oak and not the outer oak like that. Do you want me to close the door at the end or what? The original frame of the house, these are called tie beams. They tied the front to the back. And there's one here, and you'll see 2 others as we go down this back corridor. Why are they so low? It's because this floor has been raised over the years. A lot of people think that because of the height of doorways and archways and so on, it meant that people in the 15th and 16th century were shorter. It's not true. They were the same height as we are. What has changed is the ground floor has come up. If you look at the ground floor downstairs, the steps up from the outside, when it was just a pure earth floor, so earth treading in over centuries gradually raised the level, so they had to move the roof up, or the ceiling of the downstairs room. So this floor would have been a lot shorter at some stage, so people could pass through. The architect, when we had this extension built, said we should take this out because it's no longer functionally necessary, but we like the idea of it. It's a beautiful piece of beam, and on this side, on the outside here, the timber is very much rougher, it's weathered, because this would have been the outside of the house. And all of these houses when they were built, all of the timber showed. So if this was the outside wall, this would show, that would show, and it would be infilled with wattle and daub, which is typically willow branches about the thickness of my thumb, covered or bound together with straw and mud, and that's it. And there's a lot of that still here in these walls today. Haven't been moved. A window in the same position as it would have been in the 14th century, or maybe it's moved a little, because if I do this, you can see there's a recess behind here that goes all the way back to there, and it comes all the way back to here. So in the 16th century there would have been shutters in that slot down to the lowest sill, which would probably been down here somewhere, wooden shutters that kept the cold out. And during the day, when they wanted some light, they would pull the shutters along inside this recess. They would just slide along. And of course, there was nothing else. There's no glass. They couldn't afford glass in 1550, 1560. Glass started to come a bit later. So this would have been just an open hole in the wall. But because they were cooking in the room right below here, this was somewhere for the smoke to go out. Down here, if you can see this, shall we put a light on? There?
Yep.
Try and give a little bit of light. This cut window, much smaller one as you can see, and this is what they called a mullioned window. These are the mullions, and I don't know how well you can see this, but they're instead of having a piece of timber roughly 3 inches by 3 inches like this, square, they turned round to this diamond shape. And the reason they did that is this was open, no glass in here originally. You could look straight out up the fields outside. And if you wanted to check what was happening in the field over there, because of the angling you can see much further than you could if there were squared timbers. Just gave you a little bit of extra vision outside, even though it was much more difficult for them to make. So this mullion, these are the original mullions from 1560, still in perfect condition, would have been cut into this base and into the top. And that must have been difficult to do with the very limited tools they had at that time. This is the bedroom immediately over the hall. And the hall was the one, if you recall, with the big fireplace. And originally when they built those fireplaces, they were framed with oak. And the oak would start on the ground floor downstairs and would come up to a point and meet, and that would provide structural strength and a framework for the fireplace. The architectural historian who's examined this house thinks that this may be part of that cruck that formed the frame to the fireplace. And he's not absolutely sure. He said that other tests would be required, but if it's true, if this is part of that original cruck, it's one of the few surviving fireplace crucks in the whole of Suffolk, and therefore in the whole of England. This room is now the dining room, and when the house was built, it would have been 2 rooms, maybe 3, but probably 2. And they would have been called the buttery, which is where they kept all of the fresh milk and butter and perishable foods of all kinds, meat and vegetables, etc. And the other room would have been called the pantry, where they kept the pans and all of the cooking equipment and so on. They wouldn't cook in here, they would cook in the main hall, which is next door. Now the remains, the way the architectural historians can tell what's happened in a room is because of the studs. These are the beams and the studs. And where a stud meets a beam, it's held in place by... Now, currently the dining room used to be 2 rooms. Back here would have been either the pantry or the scullery, probably the pantry, where they kept pans, pots and pans and cooking equipment and irons and so on. And on the other side, the buttery, where they kept all perishable foods and so on, to keep them cool and in good condition. And the way we know this was 2 separate rooms is by examining the studs. These are the studs. The uprights are called studs, and these are called beams. And where a stud connected with the beam is fixed in position by this plug. You can see the, what are they called again? Come to me in a minute. Pegs. The peg went through, and that's all that's holding these 2 together. There's nothing else holding them together anywhere in the house. The whole of the frame of the house is held together only by studs and beams and pegs. So by examining the beam, you can see where there have been pegs and where not. Now, here you can see there was a peg. Here's a peg hole. This is a beam. There's the peg hole. And this is a big gap here that would normally have had another stud in the middle. It doesn't. Therefore, this was a doorway. Doorway from the corridor into one of the 2 rooms, the pantry or whatever. Here we have another stud with a peg. And here we have a peg hole. So originally there would have been no door here. There would have been a stud coming down here. And on the other side of this wall would have been what they call a through passage. The through passage always connected right from the front door, right through the house to the back door. And in medieval times, if for example, a water supply was out there, the village pump, people would not hesitate to walk right through your house to get to the pump. They were almost a right of way, and it was common for people to walk backwards and forwards through the house. Now, if that's the front, notice these houses are all very narrow because that's determined by the availability of oak spans. If that's the front and this is the back, where's the back door? I can show you some remains of it. Here we are now in what is a cupboard under the stairs, and you can see this is what I call the glory hole. This is tools and light bulbs and all kinds of bits and pieces. But here you can see the frame of a Tudor-shaped doorway. It went to a point up here, came down like that. And again, it looks very, very short. So you think short people use this, but they didn't. The floor was very much lower when they first came. But that's very definitely a Tudor archway. Moved around. Here's the other thing we're looking for. Some little pair of fingers keep putting me down somewhere. How big could it be? Can you?
The daughter spoke tonight, only not full.
Miss Sophia lived in Willow.
One day I was walking and just let him go on. So in the morning I don't wake up till about 10:30. Sometimes later, she's just.
Her ancestor stayed there.
Stop picking that up at all. But I just don't have the patience for it. And she doesn't. And she exaggerates it to
Is anybody having dessert?
No, I went to a one
Try a bite of this.
Sure, I'll wait till
Hello.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dale. Happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you.
Make a wish and blow.
Didn't make a wish. Oh, okay.
You wish it didn't happen, huh?
Nice. Thank you. See that?
Yeah, I know, we got it.
Oh. Cheerio.
No, it says cheers.
Cheers.
I know, we got it. We brought it with us.
Oh, you did? Oh. Well, thank you.
Work on your ice cream first.
Well, this one's mine, I guess.
Yes. I'll just make this messier. Right?
Well, trying to go for here.
I also don't know wrap like that because it's going to be here for
All right.
I'm 42.
Yeah.
Hey, you're so wrong. I'm 42. You're 42.
You can move on to your next present.
You'll be making back in 6 months.
Put it on.
Show the world.
Okay.
You're wear it one day.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
I didn't get a present for you. Sorry.
I heard the other day, a little birdie told me that you work every day.
There's a card in there too.
Down to the
It's
center.
the Yankees. You got handkerchiefs. Lucky you. I didn't count those handkerchiefs.
Wherever you go unless you go
You're gonna have
to
42.
somewhere
There.
there's, you know, £100 a night
Okay.
or £200 a night,
Ooh.
cheese and biscuits.
What do you think's in here, Alec?
It's
Uh,
40
21.
rubbish. More cheese
Oh, bad.
and
I was right. I said a bad.
whatsoever. And when they do give it to you,
There.
they want to charge you twice as much as a normal
Stop, otherwise I'm not gonna watch. Okay, I'll watch. I mean it in honor thing.
Dale's birthday, Alex. Not
Anyways, you remember that story I was telling you how I had to run around like a chicken with my head cut off? That's because I went to 7 stores asking, do you have horse brasses? Until one guy kindly enough led me to the right store. And then I showed Sarah.
Well, thank you.
Funny enough, I didn't know what a horse brass was, so one lady laughed at me.
They're sometimes difficult to find.
Oh, I found that out. But it was fun hunting for them.
You went all the way to
England.
where was it last year?
Well done, Sophie.
Last year we went someplace and we all over the place and we found a whole bunch of
It's like a Shire horse, isn't it?
It's just a horse.
that horse has almost like a devilish head to it.
Tell you what, how I like
I think there's still another bag upstairs.
I'm going to tell you, I saw it down Frank's computer last night. I sat down there and played 2 games and I didn't want to play more. And I think I looked like horrible, horrible person. And I said, I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to do it. And I hadn't played on XP yet. But they made it harder.
Bracken!
But I remember why don't you give me the light?
Everybody ready to go? You ready to go home?
Yes. I liked it here. It's a lot of fun. I miss my mom.
I'm gonna stay here.
Okay, we'll leave you right here. And then you'll never see Mommy until next year. You'll not see her for a year. I haven't seen my mom for a week and I miss her. That's my favorite.
I've seen my mom for a week. Mom! Mommy! Mommy!
Yeah, I like those birdhouses.
Fun. Is the pheasant out there?
Yep, I see the pheasant.
I reckon I have to make a special trip back just for you.
Get your passport.
Oh, I threw that out a week ago. I figured I didn't need it going back.
Job.
Did you want any hash browns or sausage? You sure?
Come, get them away. Come
I'm
on.
telling you, they'll be serving stuff on the plate.
I'll have some.
Oh, nice. Good.
We'll have a hash brown, but besides that, no sausage.
I tell you, if you take everything out and put it on a plate on the table, everybody will start tucking in. Did you see the pheasant, Alec?
Uh-huh.
Ooh, I felt the steam rising.
Woo! Look at those wee-wees.
Is there crust on there? There you go.
Yummy.
You could see them.
What's that you say?
Thank you.
Okay.
There you go.
That's pretty thick. That's a yard. Oh, okay.
No, this is the compactor one. I don't know what that's doing in there.
You're on candid camera.
You too.
Not me, no.
There's some blue ones also.
I don't know.
See?
For a compact.
Now I was in it with my broken neck.
That's good.
Oh, no fingers on it. No. Not fingers, because you get grease all over your nice clean shirt.
Now, what about drinks? Do you want to take any drinks?
You know what I noticed? You got all of those
No,
Sunny D things we got specially, and nobody's drunk one of them.
We have no more Dr.
I don't like them.
Sunny D?
I'll take it back. Nobody.
There, and you get all wet. It's all like this.
Whoa, see how it works out, I guess. No worse.
See if you can spin it. Look, like this. Look. Look.
You can't rotate with the window seats. There's only one window seat. You can rotate that.
Is this the taxi?
I mean, somebody gets to rotate. That would be all.
I think it is your taxi, yeah.
Taxi
Two
here.
people in it already. Your taxi's here.
Right.
The taxi's here.
Right.
Please, sir.
Granddad, look.
Right, come on, hurry up. The taxi's here. Hello.
I do.
Shall I start carrying down? Right. And put that back in the kitchen, Alex.
Oh my God, Alec.
Okay, it's almost
Cedric, back here.
5 o'clock in the morning.
In England.
Almost 20 hours later.
Here. And Alec has spilled Pringles all over the seat.
Oh, how about again? Good evening.
Bonsoir.
Bye-bye.
Au revoir.
Cheerio.
Arrivederci.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. With a little bit of a French lesson for that. Ciao.
20 hours later.
Oh, I'm still happy as I was at 7 o'clock this morning. Back in England. England time. You want me to close this?
Time to go home.
Ebony, what are the positive things you like about Northside? It can be sports teams or anything.
Basketball, that's it. Yeah, we talking down the hills. That's crazy.
All right, what are some things that you like about Northside?
It's a really pretty school. I don't know, it's not as crowded as other schools. It's big. Everything's new.
Yeah, what are some things that stand out to you about like the first year? What are some of your like favorite things about the first year, high school year? Yeah. Anything special that just you remember or something? Anything that just happened to you?
Of course, we had to be private. It's like, I think it's nice how we had our dance in the colors area.
Cool. All right.
So why do you have it on? It's not recording. It's calling for me.
Hey, Gail. What do you like about Northside?
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing. All right, I'm gonna put down my tape.